I've been involved in performance and theatrical sort of like, in oration and things like that since I was a child. I was 9 when I had a teacher who was like, give this boy something to memorize and to recite or he's gonna drive me crazy. So she gave me, the first thing that I got was a portion of, at 9, Martin Luther King's Drum Major Instinct. And it was the first thing that I remembered. The first thing that she gave it to me, and she was like, memorize this. It was like a portion of it, and I memorized it. And one day I had to do it in front of the school, and from then on, it's been since then. I've been, I had a small break in my late 20s when I thought I would study psychology and get a PhD in psychology, and I left the theater for a while, but
So you've been involved in theater from 9 onwards?
From 9 onwards, or at least oration.
And as before we started this interview, this was in New Orleans?
In New Orleans,
yeah. So what happened in high school and college?
So high school, I went to a small little private school, a little Catholic school in New Orleans. And New Orleans has this wonderful performing arts school that was not a day school. It was a school that you would go to as a half-day thing. And if you went to private school, they made it very difficult for you to go. So I went to school at this little school, and similarly, I had teachers who were like, you have a real dramatic flair. You should, let's have you memorize this or do this. And I got involved in the choir, and I just ended up being the MC for everything, voted most likely to appear in his own music video. And all kinds of crazy stuff in high school. Wow. And when high school was over, I was a real overachiever, and I thought that I would go to school, thought I would go to college to be a doctor. So I had been applying to all of these colleges and got accepted into Howard University pre-med, and I had a teacher who walked up to me one day and said, I don't think you want to be a doctor. And I was like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. And she's like, I think that you are supposed to be involved in the theater. And I've set you up an interview with the school here, Dillard University in New Orleans, a small HBCU. And she was like, I set you up an appointment to get you a scholarship to go to school to Dillard for free and study theater. And I was like, well, okay. And I went and I did a few, little things that I had memorized, and I got into school there, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if I had a dream or what, but I woke up maybe a week later and was like, I'm gonna go to school for theater. And that's what I did.
So from there to where you are today in Wild and Happy, how did you get this part?
Audition. I auditioned. I was in the UK doing a production of Antony and Cleopatra at the Royal Shakespeare Company that was a partnership with the Public Theater in New York. And when I got to New York, as soon as I landed, my agent was like, there's an audition for this play that so happens that I had seen at the Public Theater because it premiered at the Public Theater. She was like, Wild with Happy. I was like, oh, really? I was like, who do they want me to audition for? And she said, Mo. And I said, I could not possibly play that. I don't even know how I would even begin to try to do that. And she was like, I think you should do it. And it just so happens that the playwright and I have the same agent. We have the same theatrical agent, same talent agent. As does Forrest, who plays the lead in this play, who plays Gil. The three of us all have the same agent. And she said, I'm going to send you the material, work on it, and don't worry, I think you can knock this out of the park. Just go for it. And I went in, and I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. I was like, wow, because when I saw the production at the Public, the guy who played Mo was Mo. He was Maurice. He was the guy that the part was written for and named after. So I was like, this is a part that's so specific. And she was like, do your own thing, don't worry about it. And I went in and I just cut loose, and they were sitting behind the table dying laughing, and I couldn't even believe it. And
here you
had another audition, and here I am. Yeah.
I think you actually are the star of the show.
Oh, you're
I
very
mean,
kind.
there might be other people who think differently, but I am also interested in still what characters in your life did you draw upon to be Mo and to be the elder in the church and to play the drag role in this one?
I watched a lot of Paris is Burning, the documentary. When I got here, the dramaturg brought me over to the Hippo, which is the gay bar right around the corner from
Right.
drag shows and like all of that, and we just like sat around and I did that, and then I also based it on a couple of women that I know.
Okay.
You know, I was just like, I can kind of be my sister, and I can kind of be. And then there's a trans rapper from New Orleans named Big Frida, who has like her own television show on I don't know, Fuse or something. And I watched a couple of episodes of that, and I was like, I walk out to Big Frida. I specifically asked the sound designer if I could walk out to a Big Frida song, because I knew that would propel me into the play. Like I was like, I can walk out to this music, which is the music that I grew up with. I was like, if I can walk out to this music, and she also happens to be a trans person, you know, I don't know if my character is trans, but my character definitely sits on a weird space in the gender spectrum. And I was like, if I could walk out to this, and I researched a lot of Big Frida, and I even based the look a little bit. It's a little kind of like punk rock, because Frida's very punk rock, always got like a blue streak of something or a purple streak. And I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do that. And so that's what I did. And I mean, it was hard and coming, but who knew? who knows what's inside of you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so hard. It's so funny, like what will bubble up inside of you.
Well, I was fooled when I saw you do the minister role in the beginning. Where did you pull from that?
I grew up Catholic. I don't know where I got that. I grew up, singing Gregorian chants and stuff. So I watched a couple of things on TV, and the playwright was like, this is a storefront church, and he is like, full of stuff, and this is the kind of preacher who will come in and, quote rap songs and, blah, 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 and, he's hip and he's cool, but he's probably not the holiest man in the world, and, he's like, just go for it.
Yeah.
So I just decided to just went for it, and just, played around with some sounds and stuff.
Well, I hope you get a lot of bouquets for this performance while you're here at Centrstage. So what's next for you after this?
After this, I am going to chillax. Very, very purposefully. I actually have an audition for a show that's coming up here at Centrstage next week, but I am going to go down to New Orleans because I've been on the road since September. I have not. I've been living out of a suitcase since September, so I'm going to go to New Orleans and sit down at my grandmother's house and eat some gumbo. Eat some gumbo, crab a little bit, go out to the bayou and crab and hang out with my nieces and nephews, and relax. Because I've been very, very lucky to have been working really, really hard. Actually, for the past 3 years, I've hardly been still. So I feel lucky.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.